wanted to kind of think about as we go through this today is a webinar, but obviously we're face-to-face. So we're going to be able to combine a webinar experience with a live audience. So when I would begin a webinar, I would conceivably start something like this up on the screen. And we have our countdown going, we got everything working, and we basically would come on down and we would go live. And welcome everyone to the webinar, our presentation today. And then, as if you have not downloaded the app yet, here's the barcode for you to download. And we would actually begin our presentation on 4 keys to success. Now, when you're doing a webinar, when you begin to, pardon the expression, share your slides, we've all heard that expression, right? Okay, did you notice I did not say I'm going to share my slides? Because I know you can see my slides, and obviously I can see them too. But you also notice that I am present on the screen. So when you're doing a webinar, when you share your slides on Zoom or anything else, you become what I like to call a Hollywood square. You just join the crowd and you go off screen. Not very engaging. But as I go through our presentation today, I'm always going to be on screen. So yes, you see me live, but you're also, if you were on Zoom, this is exactly the view you would be seeing. So as I would go forward, you would want to be able to do something similar to this. I'd like to engage the audience quickly. So those of you who have downloaded the app, please put in what you think is the answer. The average webinar loses 48% of attendees' attention in the first 3 minutes, 7 minutes, 5 minutes, or 9 minutes. If you can put it into the app, A, B, C, D, I would appreciate it. All right, this is the engaging part, folks. Please help me out here. Put A, B, C, or D into the chat, into the app. It will send. Oh, actually, I failed. I failed to start an app. Hold on one moment. My fault. All right, let's do this one more time. I apologize. All right. A, B, C, D. Into the app, please. Okay, and we're going to start getting those responses coming in. As you see, as the responses start to fill up, the percentages of how the people answer the questions start to appear right on screen, okay? And we have a mixed audience, and so far, no one's gotten the right answer yet. So the right answer actually is C. In 7 minutes, we basically either grab the audience attention, or they're busy using their phone, doing something different, or doing whatever else they're doing, but they're not paying attention to you. Now, if I actually had someone that answered the question correctly, I'd be able to actually bring them up, reward them with a little gold star, a little flickering, or something to that nature, to be able to get them rewarded for being the first person to answer the question. So this is all about being able to get people to respond to you quickly and being able to get them to answer a poll question. So as we just saw and we learned, that within the first 7 minutes, people are engaged in your webinar or they're not. Why does it take that long? Because if you're not engaging your people, your audience, early in the webinar, as I said, they're going to do something different. They're going to get on their phone. They're going to answer their email. So by having a poll question or something totally unique to get them interested in your conversation, in your webinar, and maybe it's something that they think about, and it gets them to think about, it gets them engaged. It changes the whole perspective of your webinar as you do things like this. What you want to do is capture the attention of your audience as fast as possible. As I just said, otherwise, what you're going to do is you're going to lose their attention and it's going to fall flat. And as you notice, as I'm going through this, I'm still on screen. Okay, so if you're on Zoom, you're still seeing me. So I'm still front and center. By the way, who am I? My name is Jeff Brandeis. I have a corporate background. I've been in sales for 25 years. I've done presentations. I've done all sorts of various things. I'm a board member. I'm an author. And it really came to me on why we needed to have Zoom engagement or Google Meet engagement or Teams engagement. Really, realistically, webinars fall flat. We've all been there, right? They go on screen, they talk about the same slide for 20 minutes, right? I see some smirks, I see some smiles. We've all experienced that, right? Okay, and they just fall flat. And the presenters really struggle to convert viewers either into a call to action or whether the next step or to the buy at the end of the day. So, and then there's that skill gap in delivery. We've all been on the webinars before where, hello, my name is Jeff. I welcome you to my webinar today. I am so thrilled to have you here today. Right, that just gets you all excited to be there today, right? We've all seen that too. And then the fourth reason is there's no tech creativity. There's really nothing in there to create the mission or the thought process of this is something different. So again, I'd like you to kind of think about it. Did those four things resonate with you in the app? Put a yes if those four reasons resonated with you, or if they didn't, put no. Yes or no? Thank you. And again, as you see, as the answers come in, it starts to populate immediately. So I'm engaging my audience, I'm getting to know that I'm having contact with them, and it's being able to get them to be able to integrate with my conversation. So we got a person that said, no, that's okay, it's all good. So really, at the end of the day, it's all about being in that engagement. Being able to get those people to be part of the audience and part of the crowd. So without having that tech creativity, we all got to use Zoom when COVID hit, at the end of the day, right? We had no choice. We went to Zoom, we went to virtual presentations, but no one took Zoom to the other level. We just all started using Zoom the same way. As I said, hi, my name is Jeff. Can you hear me? Raise your hand, right? And then the next question was, where in the world are you joining me from? And then the all famous, I'll share my screen. Raise your hand when you see my screen, okay? You'll never hear me say, I'm gonna share my screen, can you see my slides? Because I know you can see my slides, and I know you can hear me. That's the technology that we built. And by the way, if you can, when we go to that question of where you're calling in from, in chat, you can actually, on that app, put where you were born. I know you're all here in Miami, but if you actually put where you're from or where you originally were born, the earth here will begin to spin as people start to respond and put things into chat. So we have one in Colombia. Come on. Can we get one more in there, please? And the idea, again, is to make things more visual to the audience, being able to get those information to get those people to respond and from a visual aspect. 85% of our population is more visual than just auditory. So the more things you can put in front of the people, the more engaged they're going to be than just having to talk. We got to make our presentations a communication, a conversation, not just a presentation. A presentation is a one-way conversation. But when you begin to get your audience to involve and communicate with you, it now becomes a conversation that's going to be able to resonate and be able to communicate better and more effectively. So webinars are actually now becoming more of the boardroom. More and more presentations are done being virtual. When I just say webinar, it's any type of virtual presentation. It's not just a sales presentation. It's not a webinar to sell a product or anything like that. We have board meetings going on virtually. We got lots of different things that are happening. But yet, we still basically do the same things. So when I do my slides, as you'll see, I begin to unravel my slide deck. Okay? I don't have a slide just show up with all my bullets on it. So I'd rather be able to talk about each bullet than having everyone kind of just scan through and then go, okay, that's fine, and then you lose interest. So having slides that are more animated also brings in people's attention. Static slides lose people. So talk to the people, connect with them. Disengage your audience is a poor communication perspective, not communicating with them smoothly at all. Why should you invest in effective communication and stop doing Zoom calls the old way? Because at the end of the day, you'll have more increased profits. An engaged audience will convert at a higher rate. It's been proven. It definitely is there. The moment you lose audience attention, the likelihood of them converting to whatever you're presenting, the less likely they are to do that. So you'll have increased profits. And the more interaction you're going to get, you're going to have a higher retention to move forward at the end of the day with your product, and they'll stick with you throughout the presentation. And as you get more comfortable in your presentations, it will elevate you professionally in your career. You'll become a more accomplished presenter, a more accomplished speaker, which at the end of the day helps your career path. And if you're young and you're growing or you want to move into a speaking relationship, this again elevates you in your presentation style. You are going to differentiate your product and yourself from the competition. Because you know, nowadays, when someone attends your webinar for your product, the odds are they're checking somebody else out. And what you want them to remember is that your webinar, your interaction with them was totally different than your competitors. And this is what this does. So when we look at key 2, is you want to have dynamic engagement. And there are 3 keys to a webinar communication clarity. One, we began to talk about. Capture that attention first and early on. Don't let the audience just sit there without engaging them all. Stop with the 3 strikes, as I like to phrase them. Hi, I'm Jeff. Welcome to my webinar, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, I'm going to share my slides. Do something that gets them to think. Think out of the box. Engage them early. Explain and simplify your structured message visually and verbally. So when I started my career, basically we used to go do conferences like this and did presentations. As I said, when Zoom hit, we all got virtual. And 99% of us also use Zoom the exact same way. And I felt there had to be a better way to get more engagement when you're doing a webinar. So we created this app to be able to plug into Zoom, Teams, or Meet to bring questions up on screen. Now on your app, also, if someone would type something into chat, you'll be able to even, if I go live here, so we have someone from Tanzania. I can bring something that's in chat right up on my screen. How cool is that? We got bought, thank you. Great presentation. So I see something in chat, I can bring it on screen. I see a question on chat that I want to bring up so everyone can visualize it. I don't have to say now, oh, someone put a question into chat and just repeat the question. Again, people are visual. So when you bring it on screen, you're getting that attention factor to the people. When I'm tired of bringing it there, I bring it out. And Boria says, hi there. I appreciate the input. So thank you for all that. Thank you, sir. So again, this is going to capture your audience. This keeps them engaged because now it's not that same old, if you would, style webinar where you just basically, oh, there's a question in the chat and you'll talk about, you're now bringing visualization to the screen. And also, as you can see, oops, I am navigating myself back and forth through using a push button, what's called a stream deck. I'm now a push button presentation. I'm not using my mouse to move my slides. I simply just move my next arrow to go to my next slide. And at the end of the day, communication will lead your attendees to be able to get them to convert. You want your presentation to have a presentation, not just a sales pitch. You want to make it interactive. And you want to be able to get the audience in there to be able to engage with you. That's really what the key things are. Because honestly, if you're not engaging your audience and you're spending money and time to put together a webinar, you are throwing money down the drain. My sound didn't come through. It's plugged in, it didn't come through. Normally you hear the water splashing and you get the effects on that. So it's again, animation, things like that, brings the attention to your audience. And if you're not tracking your conversions, you should be tracking your conversions, because it's so important to track your numbers, to track your information, to be able to do things that I'm doing right here. We go back to our slides, and we can basically move ahead. So the key number three is to be able to get audience interaction. The more involvement you can get with your audience, they will be part of your presentation really at the end of the day. So display questions, bring questions up on screen, ask for comments, be able to bring things to life that's on the people's minds. That's really what true engagement is. You stop using Zoom the way everybody else is using Zoom. It really makes it for a very unengaging presentation. And yes, I've seen some great presenters do some really great things, and there are some great speakers out there, don't get me wrong, and they do a great job of converting. But if they had the power to bring things on screen, their conversion rate would even be better than what they are today. A customer engagement and engaged audience, as I said earlier, will convert at a higher rate than what you're getting today. It's been a proven fact to be able to do things like that. And we have some cool things that you could do as well. If I was on a Zoom call, you can actually bring in a wheel, and you can have one lucky winner be able to win a prize at the end of your webinar. So typically what I would say to people is, hey, keep your cameras on, and you'll be able to win a lucky prize at the end of the webinar. And for that matter, typically what I would also be able to do in my early parts of my presentation is just ask people to turn their cameras on, okay? And show them how to turn their camera on, okay? After all, I want to have that face-to-face. I want to put that name with the face. So turn their camera on, okay? And if you're on the Zoom call, down on the bottom is your chat functionality. Ask me a question. Put it into chat. Ask for that engagement. So that way I can actually bring that engagement right up on my screen as well, okay? It becomes really much more powerful when you can start off a Zoom call, or here we're live, and I'm doing the same thing live to get the audience engagement by using our poll feature that you have on your phone. If this was a hybrid event, you know what I mean by hybrid? If I actually had Zoom attendees, I can actually pull my Zoom chats into my polls, pull your answers into my polls, and now I have a combined audience answering all my questions. And I'm not having anyone else that's in Zoom go out to a third-party app in order to participate in my polls. It's built into Zoom to be able to do that. What's also really cool is, since this is a two-way conversation, and as I like to phrase it, it's an edu-trainer. You're educating people on your product, and you're training them on something. But the other part is to get information back from your audience. As they answer the questions, we are actually building a file for you, a CSV file, where we capture the name of the person, their email, and how they answered the question. So at the end of the webinar, you can now take this file that we created and import it into your CRM program. or you just have a file. Then when you do your post-webinar follow-up, you now have the information about the people that attended your webinar. So you ask the questions, now it's built based upon your follow-up on how they answered the questions. So it really becomes a great way for you to gather feedback from your audience and be able to post follow-up with them as well. So there's lots of different effects that you can be able to do there as well, in addition. So stop presenting, start to connect with the people. And the best way you could connect with the people is to get them to reply back to you. Get them involved, get them to respond to you by using a poll, taking advantage of the chat functionality that they have within Zoom. It's really one of the most creative ways to be able to incorporate the people to get them engaged. And stop using the Zoom the old-fashioned way. And this will engage your audience, and you will get a higher conversion rate as you move forward with them. When your audience is engaged, it is moving forward towards winning. Because that's really, at the end of the day, that's what you want. You want to be able to win. And winning is different for each presenter. It could be a lead gen program. It could be a buy now program. It could be a, hey, just book a call with me. So the more you're engaging with your audience and you're getting them to reply back to you, the likelihood of your call to action or your CTA for them to happen is going to take into account. It's just natural. The more engaged they are, the more the likelihood they're going to actually book a call or buy at the end of the day. And having a conversation with them, it makes that next step an easier flow. A lot of people don't like to, pardon the expression, close. But if you're able to kind of naturally just go, hey, what we've covered today is this, this, and this. Let's book a call. And it makes it much more natural to move forward. So at the end of the day, the fourth key is you got to end with some transformational impact. Why should they move forward with you? What did you just cover? What makes you different than the other people out there? You can say thank you, obviously, for coming. You summarize the key takeaways. You have a call to action, and then you have your next steps, which are all key things to do when you have a transformational impact at the end. So what we're doing here is we went through what the 4 keys of dynamic webinars are. It's having success, making your webinar presentation dynamic, getting that audience interaction, getting a transformational impact for the people to take action at the end of the webinar. And we talked about in the heading for the Elite Webinar Blueprint. So what does that stand for, the Elite? Is, as I said, E is to engage your audience. From the first time they log in, when you log into my Zoom room, before I even start my webinar, I have a video going. That little history about me, my presentations, what I've done, I've been on stages. So if they showed up 5 minutes early before we were ready to start, they learn a little bit more about me or my product. They're just not into a waiting room that's just waiting to begin. The L for Elite is lead with confidence. Use these advanced tools and techniques to engage your audience. Inspire action and captivating with storytelling and design. Telling stories is the most compelling way to get people to take action. I've been there. I've struggled with Zoom. When I was after COVID, I used Zoom no different than everybody else that used Zoom. And honestly, it fell flat. So that's where I said, there's got to be a better way to get people to engage as if we were having a conversation. So I went off and had this app built to create the Zoom engagement that we all want and we all need, to be quite honest with you. So inspire action, things like that. Transform your results with tangible success. It will lead with more sales, and you'll get more sign-ups by engaging your audience, which is the T. And then always evaluate your performance. Always look to improve your presentations. Always look to get better. I always look to get better. Every ball player, every professional, they all have a coach. They have someone to help them. And doing presentations, that's part of what we also do. We'll help you coach will help you get your first presentation up and running. If you haven't done one, or if you've done one that's already, we'll help you integrate some of this technology so that you can have a more engaging webinar as well. So as attendees, if you'd like to go out to our engagingwebinars.com website, we also have a giveaway that will help you learn how to master the engaging webinars. It's a PDF file. It will give you some of these suggestions. It will give you some insight and be able to navigate your way through the webinar mastery. Just as I showed you, I had a side-by-side PowerPoint, right? Like I'm doing right now. If I had my iPad here and I want to switch to my iPad, all I have to do is press a button and my iPad will be on screen and I can draw, I can do math, I can play a game. Having that type of integration built into your platform where I can just push a button and navigate to a different scene changes you as a presenter totally. It makes it for a seamless presentation. You're not messing around with a mouse. You're not doing anything else more that's going to take time and pressure away from it. So go out to the website, take a look, download it, and if you like, I'm offering a complimentary meeting. Let's review your strategies, your webinar way that you're presenting, and let's see if there's ways that we can make your webinars or your virtual presentations even more engaging by using some of this technology. I have a couple of minutes before my time's up. Are there any questions? Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry? So the question is there a limit on how many people can be in your webinar? Great question, thank you for asking. The limitation is really just based upon what your subscription is to the webinar platform. So if you're in the free version of Zoom, you got 40 minutes. You're got their middle level, and when you just sign up, no, you can use it for whether one webinar or you can use our platform for 500 webinars. It doesn't matter. We don't count the number of webinars that you're using. And our goal is that obviously you use the platform time and time again. So it's one of those that you can use. Yes, sir.
Is it a Zoom specific?
I'm sorry?
Is it a Zoom specific application that can be applied to?
So the question is this only a Zoom application? So the answer to the question is this works with Zoom, Google Meet, and Google Teams that I'm aware of. And there's some other platforms that we would just need to go test, to be honest with you at this point.
Second question is, if you have access to the privacy information, such as names and all that, is this not?
So the question is, do we have access to it?
Right, it's a third party.
No, we don't have access to your questions or to your CSV files. That's not part of it. It's what we actually will do is we download or we install this software on your laptop. It's not a cloud-based program. It's installed. And really what I'm doing also is I'm controlling my presentation with a Stream Deck. This is a product you can purchase on Zoom, on Amazon. It's about 130 bucks or 150 bucks. And if I want to go to, so I'm on the PowerPoint, but if I want to come back to my live, just full screen, I simply just hit the live button. If I want to go to my my PowerPoint, I just simply click my PowerPoint slide. And we actually have different views for the PowerPoint. Some people like the little circle down on the bottom right, and we can make the circle any size you want. Some people also rather have the little angled look of the slides. It adds a little depth. So it becomes a personal preference on, for example, which slide view you might want to have. So lots of different effects that we have. One of my favorites, which I don't have the sound, unfortunately. How many of you ever heard the elephant in the room expression? Okay, well, guess what? We got the elephant in the room. Okay? So if I had the sound hooked up, you'll be hearing that elephant roar, the noise that goes through. So we try to make this webinars fun and engaging. Sorry, it's my personality, so I like my former CEO, one of his favorite expressions was, well, what's the elephant in the room? So I created that for But these are the things that we can create, or you can create on your own as you get used to the software. Thank you so much for attending. I look forward to hopefully speaking with most of you, if not all of you. Appreciate your attendance. Thank you so much.